And you can see, the rain's coming down, but nothing really extreme out there. But
and that was from about an hour ago, about 1:45 this afternoon. And we also have another video. News 8's Josh Lamberty shot this video outside the News 8 studios around 2:30, so just a few minutes ago. You can hear there the storm sirens going off. Now, we do want to get back to those power outages. The latest power outages in the Quad City area, again, are really low at this time. ComEd has about 37, Ameren 637, Alliant 11, and Mid-American has 1 power outage at this time. And again, we just showed some photos and videos. If you have any photos and videos from your area, please send them in to WQAD. You can either email it to us, you can send them in through the News 8 app, you can find any of us on Facebook or the WQAD Facebook page. Plenty of ways to reach us. You could see your video on the air right now. We're going to take a live look at the old Capitol building in Iowa City. You can see, once we pull up this video, the flags, they were blowing to the north, which means warm, moist air is flooding in from the south. So again, today is the day you want to be ready for any emergency situation. This area could be hit by strong to severe storms. Now again, we haven't seen any more updates on the power outages. We're still waiting for photos and videos. Guys.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I say, guys, can we toss it back to you?
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. We appreciate that. I mean, I think power outages are going to be something that we are going to definitely be highlighting a lot as we get into the late afternoon, but more importantly, going to early evening. And from Iowa City, all is quiet. If you might have heard what Andrew mentioned about, 15 minutes ago or so, all is quiet. They actually are seeing some breaks of sunshine over at the University of Iowa campus. So that break that we see here, that's going to certainly enhance that instability located out to the west and really enhance those storms that we're noticing well west of us, kind of bisecting the Hawkeye site. That's the line that we're going to be concerned about. New severe thunderstorm warning has now popped up. Once again, no surprise given what the storm has already produced and continues to produce, and not just the heavy rain and the lightning, but the potential here for seeing some quarter-size hail. And we noticed that some of that hail, you can see still, it's really starting to expand even more just north of the Quad Cities, north of Joy, Illinois, I should say. Here's Edgington right here. There is Reynolds. And you can see that area of some hail that's going to be falling right here. Extreme high probability that you're going to see some quarter-size hail from this. Hopefully nothing larger. And we're noticing even our orange color is starting to build as well. There's a yellow signifying at least some quarter-size hail. Quarter-size hail can do some damage if you have that car outside on that hood. So just keep that in mind. If it continues that track, it will be really close to Reynolds itself. There's Edgington, there's Andalusia, there's Coyne Center, and of course, here's the Quad Cities right here. So if it continues on that path, as you can see here, Edgington, maybe in less than 10 minutes or so, are seeing some of that hail across the area. And for our friends in Milan, maybe around 20 minutes. This particular storm is moving pretty quickly. I think the last count on that wind speed was 60 miles an hour. 60 miles an hour with these storms. That is absolutely incredible. And you can see the swath of it now that we put the reflectivity mode into action here. Where that hail is, of course, right here in relationship to where Joy is. So that's very likely why they put the warning out with this system, this disturbance that continues to make its way off to the north and east. So it looks like the old warning will be taken away, and this is the new warning that you can see expands now past the Quad Cities and even now as far north and east as around Hampton, you can see just south of Cordova itself. So just outside the Interstate 80 expressway right here. This is 88 right here that we see. So keep this in mind. That storm is going to hold itself together as it continues to make its way off to the northeast. So if you're watching us in Cordova, possibly just west of Prophetstown, Clinton, Fulton, you're going to eventually be impacted by that storm if it does hold together. And I think it's going to do so as it continues to make its way off to the north and east. In fact, if it does, and Andrew is just reading my mind. Boy, that's scary. You can read my mind, Andrew. You can see that if it does get to places like around Comanche, for example, you're talking less than an hour for that to take place. So even though it may be pretty quiet in your neck of the woods, Morrison as well, Milledgeville, things will get rocking and rolling here with that wave, that disturbance, that storm system as it continues to make its way off to the north and east. Andrew?
We have got a brand new tornado warning now, and that is as we get down here.
Okay.
into, this is of course going to be Henderson and Warren County, and that goes until 3:45. National Weather Service saying very strongly rotating storm down in this region. So let's see if we can actually pick something up on the velocity. Worth noting, looks like a little bit there, just in Stronghurst.
What was at the outer edge of that warning box? Was it bisecting Stronghurst, or was that? Okay, it's just southwind. I think because Lomax, because we saw about maybe 15 minutes ago some possible rotation going on around that. There's Lomax right
there's
now.
Lomax.
Now it's just to the. So yeah, I think likely we're talking about. My goodness, I think that's 1500 east right there, going into Stronghurst itself. So we may be talking about. What are you saying? I think it's kind of right here. I would say,
Yeah.
that we're possibly seeing some of this possible rotation. You want to put the velocity back on again here and see what we got? Yeah, I think the rotation is probably taking place right on top of Stronghurst itself. Maybe actually seeing a nice little wall cloud taking place there. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on this. So tornado warning out for places around the Stronghurst area and points north and east. Let's put that warning back on. Let's go and put a tracker on this as well if we can. So all this that we're seeing right here, that's some rain, probably some hail right here, and you can see the concentration of that lightning just north of that possible circulation. So there's the track that we see here. Monmouth, you got 20 minutes to get to your destination, get to your safe place. Kirkwood, you're talking about over 10 minutes. Get to that safe place right now. You are hearing the sirens. Don't try and go out and try and look for it, because this particular storm is likely moving around 60 miles an hour like we've been seeing on average with the other storms that have been taking place just to the north of east. So please need to get your safe place right away. Hopefully you have your electronics all charged up, because in case you lose power, that's a good tool to have so you know exactly what's going on within your general area, especially if you're within this track. For any more possible updates that may be taking place. But there is some rotation now taking place just off of Illinois 94 there, right outside of Stronghurst. I think we're starting to get a better picture. What do you think, Andrew? I think right here,
Yep.
I think that's where we're looking at as far as the rotation between Stronghurst and Media. That's where we're possibly seeing some of that rotation going on across this particular part of the storm. So that is something to keep an eye on. So if you're watching us in Media, get into your safe place right away. And then, of course, making its way off to the northeast. This could very likely be even producing a little hail right on this part of the shelf. And sure enough, that is the case. Already we're in the extreme probability of seeing some large hail, maybe even quarter size. And if we go with the hail size tracker itself, it's already reaching around an inch as we speak, just outside of Stronghurst itself. I'm pretty sure that this has already moved just north of town itself, and will very likely continue to make its way off to the north and east. So we're definitely dealing with a very dangerous situation when it comes to this particular storm as it makes its way off to the north and east. That's the only tornado warning we have right now. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning taking place just off to the north and west of us, or excuse me, north of us, which does include the immediate Quad Cities stretching into Andalusia, Milan, even around Edgington, just north of the Aledo area. But you can see this is where we're dealing with some hail, likely quarter size, still noticing quarter size. The brightness is starting to really get it more extreme as far as the probability of seeing this quarter size just now south and west of Edgington. Seeing some of this hail now beginning to drop just outside of town, and could very likely increase too in size as well. We didn't see much color before with this system, but now we're starting to see that hail begin to slowly increase. But given what we're noticing with the probability and the slow increase in intensity from this storm, we're likely going to see some good quarter size hail from this, and possibly, if it holds together, maybe even the Quad Cities as well. We haven't seen much blue actually taking place around the Quad Cities itself, noticing the probability of hail, but now we're kind of seeing some of that, and it's indicating that that particular part of this storm is slowly increasing. There's the track that we see. We're talking over 15 minutes for the Quad Cities itself. If that holds together, we're talking about even Pleasant Valley in less than a half an hour for the potential of seeing some of that quarter-size hail making its way in your neck of the woods. Keep in mind, this is really the first wave the first wave of these showers and thunderstorms that are going on around the area with the potential of being severe. It's that second wave that we're really concerned about. Already we're getting numerous severe thunderstorm warnings with this, and also too we're getting a warning from that second line, which is now located from Centerville and also extending its way into Ottumwa. And with that particular cell right there, there's a nice little cut into that that we're seeing right here. Nice little couplet. So the tornado likely from this is located right here, and it's getting a nice little spin out of that, that's for sure. So people in Ottumwa I know are going to be definitely taking cover for that particular storm. So that's the second wave. That is still expected to arrive around here, but it's being delayed a little bit and likely won't get here until sometime about maybe 6 or 6:30. And I say, when I mention about the time, I'm kind of talking about along the Mississippi River itself, okay? So by looking at this, it's showing around 5:30. How do we get out of the way here, Andrew? Because you got the clock.
There we go.
So yeah, if it holds together, we're talking about a system getting here at least as early as 6 p.m. now. 6 p.m., okay? So if you watched Andrew early this morning, we were talking about 5 p.m. Well, now we're getting a little bit of a delay, and a lot of it has to do with this first wave that's going on across the area that has slowed down a little bit, and that's why we're seeing some of this activity. But out to the west, right here, we have been getting reports of sun popping up, and that's going to really increase the instability. It's going to increase the energy. It's going to allow for even more shear to build in just west of that river as we go through the next few hours or so. So that's where we see the yellow. That's indicating some extreme storm energy that's going on around the area. And let's go even pop up the shear if we can. Because when we pop up the shear, we're starting to see more of that orange kind of feeding into those storms that we're seeing here, but we're also starting to see more of that orange begin to pop up. And you can see those darker colors popping up. That's indicating of some strong shear. And the focus for maybe seeing some of those stronger tornadoes, at least the potential is there for areas more to our south. And that's why we're seeing, noticing on one of our apps here, a lot of chasers kind of focusing right in this particular area, heading to about 5 or even 6 o'clock come this evening. And you can see from our tornado parameter, no surprise here. So you can see why everyone's kind of heading in this general area, right along the Highway 34 corridor, okay? So that is all setting up. That's all setting up for about 6 o'clock, 6:30, around our local area for that potential to see that risk of some tornadoes around the area. And these could be not just strong, but some long trackers as well. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. Let's go and update everyone about the warnings that are going on in our general area. Here's the warning that goes until 3:45, and that does include the immediate Quad Cities. Biggest threat right now, quarter-size hail. The storm itself moving 60 miles an hour, and it does have winds of 60 miles an hour as well. Okay, so we're pretty much talking about damaging hail and also damaging hail and even some strong wind gusts to go with it as well, as the storm itself is moving as fast as 65 miles an hour. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. We can hear the rain just pouring down outside of our station here. Got some good lightning with it, but it also has some hail. That's right now the main threat with this storm that's taking place, getting some decent-sized hail being registered on our system here, just out around Andalusia and just points southward, right around around the Edgington area there, right around Edgington itself. So that continues to make its way off to the northeast. We're starting to see another part of this storm itself starting to build up a little bit more hail as well. That, once again, get to that purple area, that's a sign of that hail getting a little bit larger and more like, I wouldn't say getting larger, but likelihood of seeing some of that hail. So this is Interstate 74. Of course, the bridge is located right here, and you can see that's where we're seeing. Let's zoom in one more time there, Andrew. Very good, thank you. And that is actually, if I'm not mistaken here, there's and we're like right here. Okay.
Yep.
We're like right about here, so I didn't hear anything about any hail outside our station. I'm just outside the door over here. So we may be getting maybe some even pea-sized hail out of that as it makes its way off to the northeast. But the better chance of seeing some hail is that one right there between Andalusia and Edgington as it makes its way off to the north and east. And you can see the hail size tracker kind of indicating that the hail, at least aloft, is about 1/2 inch, and it could be getting even larger still.